Hey everyone, it's time for Good Week Israel, where we'll bring you the most positive highlights from this week at ILTV. Get ready to smile because coming up, we'll dive into a unique story about a paraplegic who made it his mission to keep Israel's coastlines clean. We'll introduce you to some very important members of the ILTV team and tell you why Tel Aviv is one of the most dog-friendly cities in the world. Also, Israeli star singer Neta Barzilai keeps us connected amidst the ongoing pandemic. It turns out hidden treasures are a real thing. A group of teenagers volunteering in a local excavation stumbled upon something a little more valuable than they had expected. What if you stumbled upon an ancient hidden treasure? Teenagers in Israel struck gold this week, finding hundreds of coins that were stashed away in a clay vessel for more than a millennium.
חפרנו לאורך ריבוע ברצועות, ואז כשפיניתי את האדמה עם טוריה, אז ראיתי דברים שנראים כמו עלים, שבאתי לפנות אותם, ואז אמרתי שאולי זה בעצם מטבעות, אז התכופפתי להסתכל. בהתחלה מצאתי בערך 3, וכשהרמתי אותם ראיתי שהיו עוד מתחתיהם.
The group was volunteering with the Israel Antiquities Authority, excavating land where a new neighborhood is set to be built. The body responsible for ancient digs in the country say the person who left it behind must have been planning to get it back, but his identity remains a mystery.
The unique thing about this gold hoard is actually that it shows us a lot about international commerce of that time period in the area, which was on the rise and prospering, as opposed to the commerce in Europe at the time, where the use of gold actually started dwindling.
Experts say that the amount of money found back at that time would have been enough to buy a luxury home in one of the fanciest neighborhoods. Needless to say, today the treasure is priceless. Nittany Manson, ILTV. Now in this next story, Israelis are taking to the coastline to enjoy some fun in the sun while leaving the waters better than when they arrived. Aaron Porras with the details.
This is 29-year-old Saeed Darawshi, a resident from the northern Israeli town of Iksal, who was paralyzed from the waist down at a young age.
في جيل 10 سنين اكتشفوا عندي مرض في العضلات لحد جيل 19 قبل بين 19 وال20 لحد هذا الجيل مشيت عادي تفكدت عادي مشيت عادي سويت كل شيء عادي في جيل بين 19 وال20 صار عندي فيروس في النخاع الشوكي ومع المرض الأساسي صار عندي شلل في إجري الثنتين.
But taking to the sea where his immobility isn't a problem, Darawshi has since become an avid and very active scuba diver.
ليش اخترت غوص؟ كثير بحب البحر وكثير بتريح لما بكون في البحر. اخترت الغوص كنت مرة في رحلة خارج البلاد ومشان نعمل فعالية من فعاليات اللي بيعملوها الناس لما بيطلعوا بيشموا الهواء. نزلنا جربت الغوص وكثير حبيته مشان فيه اشي اللي اول اشي انت في سكوت تام وبعدين في اتصال في اشي بيصير بين جسمك وبين الاشي اللي انت بتحس فيه لنفسك لما انت بتسمعه كل نفس بتطلعه بتفوته انت حاس فيه.
So in a sense, giving back more than he receives, Darawshi has now also made it his mission to keep his beloved coastlines clean. And far from standing in the way, it seems that if anything, his disease and the wheelchair it put him in reinforce him.
يعني احنا جايين نمسك ونتفرج على شغلات حلوة. ليش بدنا نشوف سمكة عالقة بحبل صيد بخيط صيد اللي علقان بين صخرتين تحت المي. فمن هناك قررت انه كل مرة انا بنزل بغطس انا واللي معاي بناخذ معانا كيس اللي بنشوف شو بنشوفه بطريقنا بنحطه في الكيس وبنطلع معانا بناخذه معانا لبرا. اذا بتحب البحر من فوق فاكيد راح تحبه من تحت اكثر واكثر.
Aaron Porras, ILTV.
In other news, the Tokyo Summer Olympics have been deferred for a year, and athletes worldwide are fighting to stay in the competition. But one Israeli runner has to battle it out on two fronts, the physical and the religious. Ultra-Orthodox Speedy Deutsch is an aspiring marathoner who has yet to qualify for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics next summer. But with regular training, she's getting closer and closer every day. The problem now then is ensuring that the race be held on any day of the week except for the Sabbath. From Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, Deutsch doesn't train or compete, in line with her religious beliefs. And she already missed the last World Championships because of scheduling on Shabbat. So with the help from a lawyer, the runner is now petitioning the Olympic Committee to reschedule the Olympic races in which she hopes to participate. Next, ILTV visited a special place in the Western Galilee where a married couple decided to combine their life experience and academic knowledge and together started to produce a 100% natural dried fruit. Take a look.
Today we drove up to the very north of Israel, to the Western Galilee. It's known for its mountains, its golden beaches, and its fertile countryside. It pretty much has a little bit of everything. Today we're going to meet up with a couple who lives and breathes agriculture and have made it their livelihood here on Moshav Betzet. Hi! This is the real countryside life. Whoa! In Moshav Betzet, between the banana and avocado trees, lies Idan's fruit farm, run by a young, very knowledgeable couple who pretty much know everything there is to know about growing, harvesting, and drying fruits.
I learned food engineer a few years ago, and I work in some factories, and near to my 40 crisis, middle life crisis, I quit my job and looked for something else to do. I started to make the dry fruit, and he's the agriculture, so we combine our together to be as one.
Idan and Nadav produce 100% natural and organic dried fruits that they take from their very own farms, which they also tend to themselves, resulting in products with no sugar and no preservatives added.
People like to see where the fruit is coming from. They coming into the field, they understand about the growing, and then they understand all about the drying process.
Nadav's grandfather was the original farmer of these very fields, since coming here in 1949.
אנחנו מחנכים אותם, כמו שאתם רואים, כן לעבוד באדמה, כן לשמר את זה, שזה לא ילך לאיבוד.
Idan's banana field stretches out to over 100 dunams. So this is how bananas grow.
Yeah. The banana doesn't grow on the shelf in the supermarket. It actually grows on the field.
So what is it, like 30 bananas up here? It grows at one time?
Way much. There is almost 200 bananas in each bunch.
Oh, wow.
We'll have 200 bananas.
The bananas reach their full development in just 6 months. So each banana tree probably produces hundreds and hundreds of bananas each year.
No.
No?
Each one of banana trees only produce one bunch of banana.
I see.
I know it's a mistake to call it as a tree, but it's a flower. And a flower in the nature doesn't grow another time in the same area. So this flower will never flower again, and the next one will be in 6 months.
During the early stages of development, the banana flower starts to appear. Once it begins to grow, each leaf falls to the ground, revealing the tiny and delicate flowers underneath. Now, under each leaf, how many bananas would you say? Oh, I see them hiding up there.
Yeah.
Like 10 to 15?
15.
Around the banana field, you won't only find the standard yellow bananas that we all know and love, but other interesting kinds, such as the red banana.
When it would be ripe, it will be more pinky one.
And does it have a different flavor?
It's very sweet, more sweetness than the usual one. We have a banana, an apple banana flavor. It's look like a regular banana, but the taste, when you taste it, you feel also an apple and also banana together. We also have an Arabic banana.
Cool.
It's the very oldest banana in Israel. We also have Goldfinger's banana. They're like straight banana, and they're from Brazil. Because they straight, it's easily to pack them and send them overseas.
It's probably so much fun for your kids. They could play hide and seek, run around, run away from you.
I'm run away from them.
Or you could run away from them.
So this is the final stage When we are covering all the batch of the banana with the bags, a different color of bags, and then we oversell them.
Wow, so you have to keep an eye out on each and every tree because there's a lot of different stages. It's not like they all get harvested at the same time.
Yeah, so this is the reason why we have different colors of bagging.
Right by the banana plantation is Idan's store, where visitors will find several options of dried fruits and other all-natural and healthy snacks.
After seeing all those bananas in the fields, it made me crave some of them. I've never had a dried banana before.
We dry them with no preservatives, no added sugar.
Well, it doesn't need any added sugar because the fruit is already so sweet.
Beyond simply looking through the fields, a visit to Idan's farms gives you the option to make your very own healthy snacks with dried fruits. So today we decided to make energy balls concocted with a base of oats, nuts, and a special edible glue that holds it all together.
This is made from tahina and honey. We mix them together. We just put 1 teaspoon, very big one, inside the things you choose.
Okay, and mix it all up with our hands?
Yeah, by your hands.
After wrapping it up, we just stick it in the fridge for 5 to 10 minutes to set, and then it's ready to eat.
Now, going back thousands of years, new evidence from the days of the biblical judges has been found. A Canaanite fortress discovered by the Israel Antiquities Authority and a group of teenage volunteers.
ברוכים הבאים למצודת גלון. המבנה הזה הוא מבנה יוצא מן הכלל. יש לו 4 מגדלים ב4 פינות, הוא נבנה בקירות ובאבנים גדולות ומסיביות ביותר. שימו לב לסף הכניסה שאני עומד עליו, ומשקלו כ3 טון.
The Galon Fortress, built some 3,200 years ago in the 12th century BCE, features watchtowers, a courtyard paved with stone slabs, and rooms on either side. Hundreds of clay vessels and other artifacts have also been uncovered. But the fortress's existence alone is one of the biggest finds, proving that geopolitical tensions were just as high in ancient times as they still are today. Built by the Egyptian-governed Canaanites, the Galon Fortress likely served as a defense outpost against the expanding Philistine and Israelite armies. The Philistine kingdom of Gat to the southwest, and the Israelites in the Judean mountains in the northeast. As you may have predicted, though, the Canaanites didn't fare so well in the long run.
התוצאה הסופית היא שהפלישתים פולשים מזרחה, הישראלים מערבה, והכנענים בסופו של דבר נעלמים.
While returning to the ruins after thousands of years, the site is now being opened to the public completely free of charge. Nittany Manson, ILTV. If you're looking for a hobby, how about bird watching? 2 Israeli photographers have turned their hobbies into award-winning photos, winning first place at the 2020 Bird Photographer of the Year Awards. Moshe Cohen and Gad Shamila each won first place. Shamila for Birds in Flight category, he captured Israel's national bird, the pupe, and Cohen took home the top spot in attention to detail category. Now for this next report, we felt that we needed some experts to weigh in. So we conferred with the ILTV Canine Unit, getting their take on the latest news in which the city of Tel Aviv ranks as the 3rd most dog-friendly city on the planet. The new ranking, compiled in honor of International Dog Day by German insurance company Koya, lists the top 50 most dog-friendly cities around the world. Criteria including cost of dog ownership, the number of pet supply stores, dog parks, dog-friendly restaurants and establishments, abandonment rates, and even pet waste pickup. Tel Aviv then, with 1 dog for every 5 human residents, ranks 3rd overall, coming behind San Francisco and Seattle, in 1st and 2nd place respectively. But Tel Aviv still ranks high or even first for number of pet stores and for number of dog parks and veterinarians per dog, while scoring lower on lifetime ownership costs and a few other factors. Now, in these challenging times, we've all had to sacrifice something. Maybe it's travel or dating or social life. For Israeli star singer Neta Barzilai, though, it's connection. But she's been hard at work to try and find a solution. The smash hit Neta Barzilai, with her unique and powerful style, has been shooting higher and higher ever since taking gold at the 2018 Eurovision Song Competition. But things were soon to change for everyone. the deadly coronavirus pandemic spreading across the world and shutting everything down in its path. Months of closures and hardships, including in relationships lying ahead.
Usually, one of my most fun parts was to sit and ride in a coffee shop and look at people, and you can't really see them anymore. They're there, but there's more barriers now that we've got to have to learn how to break.
One of Barzilai's newer singles, Cuckoo, now taking on new meaning then, distancing orders making us feel trapped.
I'm like a bird in a cage and I'm going cuckoo, cuckoo. I know that I can escape, but I don't want to hurt you.
The melody turns inside in a loop, in an infinity loop that turns and turns and turns forever. Like the melody is caged and like this beautiful sad rhyme is caged. So this for me describes this period of time.
Well, from the struggle came an opportunity to turn lemons into lemonade and to reconnect with fans.
This whole quarantine situation made me actually get into my studio, and it made me create. I had nowhere to run, no bar to go sing at, no friends to meet. And I just needed a way to engage with my fans and to engage with my audience. So I made up Neta's office, which is what you see here.
In a podcast-like format, Neta releases periodic 20-minute episodes where she performs and communicates with her fans. But more than just an outlet, Barzilai uses her new platform to advocate for those who haven't been as lucky.
Obviously, being closed in these four walls gave me all of the opportunities I figured out all I needed was this room in an artistic way. But to say I'm grateful for this is wrong, because yesterday I had a conversation with one of my former employees telling me that he couldn't feed his children. When you think about how much money I'm making or how much money an artist makes, he supports hundreds of people behind him. And when you think culture and art is a privilege, you're so wrong. It's a necessity.
I'm like a bird in a cage and I'm going cuckoo, cuckoo.
All right, the city of Tel Aviv tries to help citizens get out of the house and enjoy their nights while social distancing. Well, it started bringing back the drive-in movie experience, and now it continues with a paddle-in. Indoor theaters and cinemas still closed due to the coronavirus. The Tel Aviv municipality is floating a different idea for entertainment. Whole families, young couples, and others in the know taking advantage of the new sail-in floating cinemas in the city's Yarkon Park. The so-called theater accommodating up to 200 people seated across 70 pedal boats, and each maintaining 2 meters distance. Every day during the last week of August, the city screening 2 films on the water at a cost of just 80 shekels per boat.
Because we have no regular days now that in the corona we have no movie, no theater, no anything. So the city of Tel Aviv make for us this beautiful evening.
It was an amazing evening. Great to see a cinema, Corona style. We had an amazing time. The whole family enjoyed it. Good move, Tel Aviv.
And now let's take a look at an ILTV interview with the Israeli tour guide who unveils the must-see spots in Israel.
All right, now for those of you who still can't travel abroad or qualify for a brand new foreign passport, Visit to Israel is joining us again with some must-see places to visit right here in the Holy Land. Locations that even many Israelis don't always know about. And joining us with the details is Israeli tour guide Ilyana Pasentin. Thank you so much. It's so great to have you back.
Thank you.
All right, so first, What's our first location this week?
So in the Binyamin region is famous for its beautiful layer springs. What's a layer spring? The mountains are limestone. So when it rains, there are breaks and fissures and the water penetrates into the limestone until it reaches a layer of marl, which has the consistency of clay, and that's where the water springs right out of the mountain. What we did in the town of Eli many years ago is we took all of our teenagers and we dug a water hole. So there are swimming pools out in the nature, Mayan HaGvura and Ein Oz and many, many other springs all over the region.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, and I understand that we have another place. It's called the Spring of Heroism.
Yeah, the Spring of Heroism that's Mayan HaGvura.
Oh, okay.
It's in memory of a lot of people that were killed in different terror attacks and wars over the years. We decided that a spring of life is the way we're going to remember those who fell in different wars. And that was our community project. What's special about the Binyamin region is that there's a park ranger named Baruch Odesser, and he goes from spring to spring. He cleans out the algae. He brings teenagers and workers and volunteers with him to make sure that there's no garbage, clean waters, and always a great site for a picnic.
So it's family friendly, I presume.
Definitely family friendly.
All right. So are there maybe places to stay overnight? What is built around the springs to support this kind of tourism?
So after you've been to Mayan HaGvura, the Gvura Spring, and Ein Oz, you either hike there or bike there, ATV there. There's a great place to stay called Kedem Ofra. It's in the town of Ofra. It's a beautiful bed and breakfast complex. Wow. And what's interesting is the story behind the scenes. It was a Jordanian army camp. It was just a wreck. And the young couple, Inbal Levy from Ofra, they renovated it. It is beautiful boutique with a jacuzzi and a swimming pool and a place to eat.
They renovated it from scratch, or did they maybe restore it a little?
They did a little bit of restoration, and yeah, definitely. And there are signs that explain the whole story. It's amazing.
Well, it sounds like a really, really cool place to go, and especially now with coronavirus, all the more reason to maybe do some local tourism.
Especially because it's out in the mountains with the fresh air.
Yeah.
You can literally leave the bed and breakfast on a horse and go horseback riding. You can walk to a workshop there's so much to do with families and couples in the region.
That's amazing. It sounds so much fun. Ileana, thank you so much for sharing about it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, that's it for today's Good Week Israel. We hope we helped you start your week off with a smile. I'm Nittany Manson. We'll see you next week.